Welcome to the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin football head coach Michael Stroup and Gallatin News sports editor Blaine Kellar. The Green Wave Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware. Football season is grilling season. Stop by Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. The Larry Maynard Agency. Give Allstate agent Larry Maynard a call today for all your insurance needs. Macon Bank and Trust. For over 100 years, Macon Bank and Trust has offered a true hometown banking experience to help you meet your financial goals. Dairyberry's Heat and Air. Dairyberry's has been voted Sumner County's best heat and air for the past 8 years. For outstanding service, give us a call today. And the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, here are Coach Michael Stroup and Blaine Kellar.
Welcome back into a postseason and Halloween edition of the Green Wave Coaches Show. I'm Sumner County Sports Editor Blaine Kellar. I will not tell you who I'm dressed up as on this Halloween recording of the GWCS, but Coach, great football coach outfit today.
Thanks. Yep. Cool.
Well, we're going into the first round of the postseason with Gallatin here. We're going to preview that game against Oakland and look into last week's win against Lebanon. But first, Coach, I wanted to touch on a couple of things, starting with last night's live tweeting a little bit of the Sumner County Commission meeting that you did. A couple of gifts, a couple of photos about kind of the athletic funding situation going on in Sumner County. And I thought it was fitting. At the start, our first episode, we talked a little bit about the bleacher situation happening just in your office back here. And it might be fitting here as we near the end of the season to revisit that as the situation has changed a couple of months later. So to start off, could you share any opinions or thoughts that you had based on last night's meeting or this whole situation that's going on with the athletic funding?
I've been here a short time, so I don't know all the history and the backbiting, I guess, of the county. But there's need for improvements and there's need for, facility upgrades and whatnot. And, I think they made the right decision last night to approve the funds. And again, the best investment is children, and they're the future. And you want to give them the best opportunity to train or whether it be education or whatnot, whatever it is. Then there needs to be a path for them, and so I thought last night was, even though it took 5 hours, it ended well.
Yeah, and a good situation all across the board for the short term and the next couple of months or so as we get ready for next football season for some of these area schools to get bleachers back, and for the future for other schools to get some athletic upgrades and some facility upgrades there. One more before we jump into a 32-30 win over Lebanon. Just before the kick of that game, Gallatin's Athletic Hall of Fame announced its class of 2024. Congratulations to Gallatin News coworker Randy Moonpie Moore on getting the nod as a contributor as part of, I believe, a 9-person class. Coach, as you mentioned here, you're still a little new to the area, but you've been around a little bit to know the history of Gallatin sports and of Union High School sports as well. So what do you know about this class that's coming into the Athletic Hall of Fame, and how important is something like that to you?
I think it's very important to recognize those guys. But to really answer your question, I did not know there was a class or who votes on it or the process, the meeting. I don't know. So it's news to me. I read it, and I'm happy for Randy and all those boys. But I'm clueless.
Well, how about Randy? You've been around Randy quite a bit. He's been around you quite a bit over the past couple of months, and just to see maybe his involvement with Gallatin athletics, maybe to give him a shout here. How deserving do you think he is of kind of that nod?
Randy is a passionate young man that wants to, do his all for the Green Wave. He's I don't think there's been a week that's went by that he hasn't, poked his head in and either dropped a newspaper off or kind of give me a little nugget here and there. But guys like Randy, man, they what keep this thing moving on and in the right direction. So, yeah, happy for him.
Yeah, I would second Coach Straup's saying there that there's always a nugget of information that Randy Moore is happy to share with you. So congratulations to him. And Coach, now let's jump into that 32-30 win. A must-win situation it became on Friday night at home against Lebanon. You got the job done. Led 23-9 at one point. Took a missed kick in the closing moments by Lebanon to seal that one up. But the job's not finished, as Kobe Bryant would say. You're in the playoffs now, and you still have work you'd like to do. But how proud are you of your team for getting that job done, ticking that box, and hitting the postseason now?
I'm proud of the guys, and I told them before the game Friday, no matter what happened, I was proud of them and loved every one of them because they're not the same kids that they were the day I got here. And there was a lot of trust to be earned. There's a lot of getting to know each other and whatnot. But I'm so proud of those kids individually and the people they have become. Now, not to saying they can't make bad choices or bad decisions and whatnot, but I mean, for the most part, they've done a really good job of becoming a whole lot, well-rounded person. So that's what I'm most proud of. And then that correlates into, winning football games and be able to claw your way back and, when adversity strikes, being able to know how to handle it. And we've had a good fair share of it this year. So I like how they responded.
Coach, a lot of this season you've talked about how other people around this program have approached you and said, in this specific situation, maybe last year's team wouldn't have battled the way that they did. Mm-hmm. I believe you brought that up against Springfield, brought that up a couple of times, maybe against Hendersonville, against Mount Juliet, a couple of close losses there where Gallatin really battled. In a game like that one, like Lebanon, where you have to win to get in, as the game progresses, that's what the situation became. How did you see that happen again?
Well, I mean, it just, we kind of, we just kept on plugging. And, I think the kids kind of believe in the system and they have faith in it. And, whenever we get the ball offensively, I think the guys, they think we got a shot. We can score anytime at any moment. And it's a whole lot easier playing with that mindset when you can go out there and, maybe be 7 points down or 3 points down or whatever. And, you got that ability to score quick. And, the kids have really done a good job executing it and things. But, again, just proud of them. Just proud of the way these guys keep going defensively too. I mean, they could have hung their head on many different occasions, but they didn't. They kept fighting.
It was as I mentioned, 23-9 lead for Gallatin. Max Kelly's field goal gave them a 32-30 lead, and then a missed kick by Lebanon as the game expired sent off what Wilson Post sports editor Tommy Bryan called a jubilant post-game celebration. Coach, was that fitting? What were the emotions like for you and your players as you realized that you were going to play into next week?
Well, I mean, at that point in time, you just thankful you got the job done, and at the same time, you got a team on the other end down there that's feeling the right opposite of you. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say after a game like that. You just kind of, you tell them you love them, and we'll see them on Monday. So, that's kind of the approach I took. I'm not going to sit there and bore them to death with words. So, I just told them I was proud of them, and well, have a good time over the weekend and see you on Monday. So they were pretty fired up about it.
Well, it's got to be fired up to get back to it on Monday. I mean, that you could say whatever kind of speech you wanted after that game, but to say see you Monday
yeah,
and to start it again was exciting, I'm sure, for you and your players.
Oh, 100%.
3 players I wanted to point out here from this game. Our Gallatin News Player of the Week to start, running back Jaden Hoskins, 179 rushing yards, 41 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Coach, this was a guy who had 3 touches total at Wilson Central after Zakian Brinkley went down. And you mentioned a few weeks back that there was a lot of growing up that he needed to do to be able to be a contributor to this program. How have you seen that maturity with Jaden over the past few weeks?
It's still a process. and there's a lot of things that go into a young man's maturity. All right, and Jaden's a kid that had a really good night for us, and he ran the ball really really hard, and I mean I think 2 weeks prior to that we go to Lebanon and we played JV, and he didn't perform very well, so it's looking for that consistency out of Jaden and the growing up, taking a little bit more responsibility on if being at practice on time or being in the classroom and stuff like that. And listen, kids like Jaden, he doesn't have it easy now. His dad's sick, and they're going through that, and he's worried about his father like he should be. But life isn't fair, and me and him's had those talks. I lost my brother, in 2013, but I was 36. This kid's 16 years old. So, but I'm proud of him. What he did Friday night. And the smile on his face, you could kind of see it. But like I told him, that week's over with. We got a new week, so you got to hit the reset button and start all over.
I'm sure that was a meaningful and pretty much an emotional performance for him to have that kind of success after, well, like you said, what he's kind of gone through this year. And Coach, one thing I've noticed watching him play at Springfield and just kind of seeing his build, and I know I've talked a lot about the build between Zakai and Brinkley and the build between the other running backs you have available now, but he almost looks like a wide receiver lined up behind the quarterback. How does his build and his frame maybe differ from other running backs you've had in the past?
I mean, Jaden's a kid that can get out in space and leave you behind. I mean, he's got that burst. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, like he did Friday. But he's also got the ability he's got that power in him. He can lower his shoulder and run over when he needs to. So he's a lengthy guy. He's long, but he's got every tool that you want in a running back. He just needs to decide whether he's going to use that all the time or just sparingly. So we're working on that, and just and same thing with Harper. They're both young guys and experience wise. So Harper came in and started the game for us, and then we spilled in Jaden. Jaden got hot, but it's a competition every week from here on out. They're going to go out there and get reps, and the hot hand to get it.
Speaking of wide receivers, LaDainian McMurray had another incredible game, two-way performance, 7 tackles, 2 interceptions, 58 yards receiving, and a touchdown. He has the size and the stats, Coach, to really compete at that next level. And before the start of this year, he was getting a couple of offers at that FCS level. If you were able to give a pitch to college coaches about LaDainian as his career comes to a close in these next few weeks, what would it be?
LD is one of those guys you want in that hole with you. We use the old term foxhole. He's one of those guys that you don't have to worry about whose back he's got. He's gonna go out there and he's gonna give you everything he's got, and he's a good leader. I think he other night we jumped off sides a couple of times to begin the defensive series against Lebanon, and LD walks up amongst the D linemen right there and had some words of encouragement for him, and but that's what you need. You got to have some guys out there sometimes to press pause and say, hey, listen, let's tighten up a little bit. And LD's that guy. He plays the middle of the field for us on defense, but he also he helps us stop the run as well. And then offensively, he's a threat out there as well. So yeah, really proud of that kid, and whoever gets him is going to get a really good football player.
LaDainian, part of that record-setting offense, great defensive player too. Giving a quick shout offensively also to Jeremiah Williams, who this past week set the single-season reception record at Gallatin. So now you've got the single-season passing yardage leader, single-season passing touchdown leader, 1,000-yard rusher in Zakai Brinkley, and 2 top 5 all-time receivers for single season, Jeremiah Williams and, of course, LaDainian McMurray. Last player to point out, Coach, and it's one that I've mistakenly not brought up all season long, Max Kelly. Hits that, as we mentioned, the go-ahead field goal to give Gallatin the lead. The final score of the game last week, this is a guy that kicks it through the back of the end zone most times on kickoffs. His punts hang in the air for what seems to be a lifetime. When you have a player that has such a sure and strong foot like that, how does that help and benefit all 3 sides of the ball?
Well, I mean, he's the best defensive player we got. You know, a kid that can kick off and put it in the end zone for you and start off on the 20 every time is a good weapon to have. But there's a lot of things when it goes into field goals and that take place. You got to have the right snap and you got to have the right hold, and you know the kickers have got to, you know, they have to believe everything's going to go right, and you know there's a lot of things. You know, just not having a great leg. You know, he's got a great leg. I mean, he's hit one from 58. You know, but that's with a ball on a tee. You know, and he's got that little tripod holding it, and he doesn't have the human factor is not there. So all those things have got to go right. You know, I think at Springfield somebody was wanting us to attempt a 56-yarder, and I was, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things just got to go right for that. Now, if I just had Max out there just waylaying it and nobody was on the field, I think I'm going to take my money with Max. But, you know, now you got protection issues and all this other stuff, so there's a lot of things that can go wrong. But he is a very talented weapon, and he's gonna do well in the future. With
his leg, with his kick at home against Lebanon, Gallatin improved to 7-3. Green Wave move on to the first round at Oakland. Stick around and we'll preview that on the Green Wave Coaches Show. Brought to you by Main Street Media Television, the Gallatin News.
Macon Bank and Trust Company is a proud supporter of the Gallatin Green Wave. For over 100 years, Macon Bank and Trust has offered a true hometown banking experience to help you meet your financial goal. We are local people with local decision-making and ready to serve you.
Derryberry's Heat and Air has been proudly serving the Middle Tennessee area for over 35 years. We have been voted Sumner County's best heat and air company for the past 8 years. For outstanding service, call Derryberry's at 615-452-8121. Football season is grilling season. The Big Green Egg is the perfect grill for everyone, from the backyard cook to the world's most acclaimed chefs. Stop at Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. It's the perfect grill for any grilling need.
As an Allstate agent in Gallatin, Larry Maynard knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with outstanding service. Give Larry a call at 615-452-1500.
He shoots, and he scores!
Welcome back to the Green Wave Coaches Show, brought to you by our 4 wonderful sponsors here in Gallatin. Do not ask me to recite them because I wasn't able to do it last week. As I mentioned, first round of the Class 6A postseason is here at Gallatin on the road against Oakland. We're going to preview that in a moment. But, Coach, you've had a lot of postseason experience. There was one bit of advice that you could give to your players, and just one, about playing in the playoffs and playing a team of this caliber. What would it be?
You know, I mean, everybody's starting at 0-0. You know, it's the playoffs. It's the new season. Preseason's over with. So, you know, we go out there and just give it our best. You know, and see what happens.
Oakland is the number 2 seed from Region 3-6A, but they are the back-to-back Class 6A state champs. And Coach, throughout this season, we've talked a little bit about that Scotts Hill and Adamsville game. In your mind, I know every scenario is different, but does this one draw any similarities for you?
I mean, there's some similarities with you know, a lot of games. I told the kids the other day, you know, I've been involved in 4 of these type games, and you know, come out on top 3 times, and it's just because the kids believed. Oakland's a good program, a great program. They got a lot of tradition down there and a lot of history, but Gallatin does too. And we're just trying to pull back the rubble a little bit to find that. So, the kids have got to understand, hey, we're a pretty good football team as well. But Oakland is the standard here, the past 10 years, I guess. It's going to be a test for us. It's going to be a challenge, and I don't think anybody's denying that. But, they got to play football too, So, we'll go out there and give it our best go.
It's the highest classification in Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association, highest public school classification, it should say. As you said, Oakland is the standard around here in the mid-state and probably around the state as a whole based on their recent success. So, Coach, when you come from a program like USJ to Gallatin, is this the type of game you look for? Is this an exciting opportunity for you to maybe prove what you guys are capable of in this first round?
Oh, 100%. This is the type of game and the atmosphere that's going to be it's going to be electric. Depending how well we travel and how many fans we have at the game. So, this is an old school rival now. They date back, and I think they've played 30-something games against each other. The last time they played was in 2012. So, these guys they have a little history with one another, these programs. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun atmosphere, and I'm sure there's a 99.99% thinks we're probably going to go down there and get steamrolled. And I don't blame them, but there's that 1%, there's that 0.01%. So we just got to go out there and play football.
You're not worried about the jersey colors, are you?
Just try and get a first down. Now, they got a lot of combinations now. They had baby blues on. Like, I didn't even know baby blues was an Oakland color, but they had baby blues on.
I'm always a fan of the baby blues.
They were tight. They looked good. They did.
One thing, Oakland's defense is one thing to watch out for in this game, and Coach, I'll ask you about that in a second. But offensively, you're going to want to stop both of those running backs. Ashton Jones, DCA transfer, who nicknamed himself Mini McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey for the 49ers, and Dwayne Morris, a 4-star athlete in his own regard. So 2 really big pieces in the ground game. Coach, how do you feel like you guys are going to be able to plug that part to try to give yourselves a chance to win?
Did he really nickname himself Mini McCaffrey?
On Twitter, on X,
that's
his
awesome.
nickname is Mini McCaffrey.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing. I don't know. Listen, they're going to get theirs, and what they do offensively, they're going to block down, they're going to seal it, they're going to kick out, and they're going to put a massive humanity right there in the middle of the field, and we just got to come play football and rally to it and wrap up and run our feet and just try to get after it.
Looks like you had a little bit of run defense success against Wilson Central and against Springfield. Struggled a little bit against Lebanon. How do you kind of take those 3 games and apply your run defense to that?
Well, it's again, it's a different beast. And the type of football that Oakland plays offensively is a smash mouth type game, and we just got to be up. We got to be up to the challenge and be able to contain them. I don't know if you can stop them, but you got hopefully contain them a little bit. So, but we'll get after it. Our kids we had a great practice yesterday defensively. They were flying around to the ball excited. So again, we'll just go out there and show up and try to have a good game with them.
There's a lot of talent on that Patriots defense, Coach. What did you kind of notice from them on that side of the ball?
They're a 3-4 team. They get a little broken stack every once in a while, 3 high safety, and they want to pressure and whatnot. But they're Oakland. So we just got to go out there, line up, and try not to try not to cry a little bit, I guess, and just hope for first down, and just maybe we can get out there and muster one up.
Can you take anything from Oakland's last game? Riverdale in the Battle of the Borough trailed 17-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
Came back, you won it 25-24.
Yeah, it was a good football game. Both sides played hard, and then Oakland got beat on a quadruple tip pass at the end. So football gods are not on your side when that happens. So I'm just excited for our kids to have the opportunity to go down there and play in a game like this. And like I said, nobody's going to give us a chance to win. But, we'll pin our ears back. We'll strap that football helmet on and buckle up them shoulder pads and go out there and try to prove that we belong. So,
looking at your quad as a whole in this Class 6A postseason, Coach, outside of your own game that you've got coming up and the excitement that opportunity brings, I wanted to see which of these 4 games you'd be most interested in seeing maybe as a fan. You've got Mount Juliet and Rockvale, Riverdale and Green Hill. That's the 1-4 matchup. Of course, Oakland and Gallatin is the 2-3, and then Cookeville and Siegel. Which of those 4, based on what you've seen, excite you?
I mean, I'm gonna stick with that Gallatin-Oakland game. I mean, I think that's gonna be a heavyweight match. I really do, And we'll just see if we can make it past the first round and see if we can take them on maybe until the later rounds. I don't know if we can, but it'll be a fun game, I hope.
All 4 should be pretty exciting here in the Class 6A postseason. Playoff games are always exciting, no matter who's up to the task. We're going to take one more break. The Green Wave Coaches Show. When we come back, one fun question with Coach Michael Stroup.
As an Allstate agent in Gallatin, Larry Maynard knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with outstanding service. Give Larry a call at 615-452-1500.
Football season is grilling season. The Big Green Egg is the perfect grill for everyone. From the backyard cook to the world's most acclaimed chefs. Stop at Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. It's the perfect grill for any grilling need. Dairy Berry's Heat and Air has been proudly serving the Middle Tennessee area for over 35 years. We have been voted Sumner County's best heat and air company for the past 8 years. For outstanding service, call Dairy Berry's at 615-452-8121.
Macon Bank and Trust Company is a proud supporter of the Gallatin Green Wave. For over 100 years, Macon Bank and Trust has offered a true hometown banking experience to help you meet your financial goal. We are local people with local decision-making and ready to serve you.
Watch it! Did that guy even see that girl on her bike?
Just like looking for other cars before switching lanes, drivers should keep their eyes out for those traveling on bikes. When a crash occurs between a vehicle and a bike, it's the cyclist who is most likely to be injured. Give cyclists room and do not pass too closely. Riders have the same rights and responsibilities as those behind the wheel.
Be aware, be alert. Brought to you by THSO, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
One fun question here with Coach Michael Stroup as we close out the Green Wave Coaches Show. I know I said I wasn't going to give my Halloween outfit away, but you said Banana Man? Is that what you said?
I mean, you got a banana.
We got a banana here.
Right there.
It's George Michael Bluth from Arrested Development.
Yeah, never would have got that.
Never seen the show?
No.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
Michael Cera plays. I look a little like. If I took off the
I don't
glasses.
know who he is.
You don't know who Michael Cera is?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll ditch that part. We're closing out the show here. Coach, I wanted to start by asking, since we are here on Halloween, best and worst Halloween candy.
Candy corn, worst.
That's
It's terrible. It's the worst candy ever made. Gross.
It's a
best?
Yeah, best.
Smarties.
Wow.
Smarties.
Now that's a hot take. You go from candy corn being the worst to picking Smarties. I figure you to be a chocolate guy.
Well, I mean, I do like chocolate. You don't look like this not liking chocolate, but I mean, candy corn's terrible. It's awful.
So whenever Jackson would go trick-or-treating, would you take all the Smarties from his little basket?
I do. We tax them. We tax them in our house. So if they go out trick-or-treating, they got to come in. They got to pay the piper.
10%? 25%? What's the ratio there?
Whatever. How many Smarties were in the box? That's what I got.
All right. And you've been in school for a while. You've been a teacher at a couple of different places. And I'm sure on Halloween you get some kids come up in their costumes. So whether it's there or whether it's during your time trick-or-treating, what do you think your favorite costume you've seen is?
Oh, I over the years?
Yeah. Whether maybe it could be something you dressed up as. I'm sure you dressed up at some point.
No. No. I don't know. I had some carolers once from USJ. I had some carolers. They came in there and sang some songs. And,
wow.
But I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I can't get past like a vampire costume. You know, the traditional. Yeah, the classic one, or nobody wears the ghost sheet anymore.
They don't.
You know, with the you know,
with the little,
I think that's
blanket.
overrated.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be more. It's probably with the economy the way it is, it's probably a budget saver.
Yeah.
Just get
everybody's got a sheet around.
Yeah, just get a sheet and cut some holes out, and there you go. But everybody's got to do this Amazon fancy stuff these days. At
one point, I actually did the sheet ghost thing in high school, and I had a cowboy hat on top of it. To hold, so it was called it a Ghost Barado. Desperado and Ghost. Got a free Chipotle burrito out of it. Unfortunately, like you said, with the way the economy is, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, that's the Green Wave Coaches Show, postseason and Halloween edition. We'll be back with you here next week, hopefully with a huge upset win to talk about for the Green Wave at Oakland. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Main Street Media Television for bringing us on the air, and we'll see you next week.
You've been watching the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin football head coach Michael Stroup and Gallatin News sports editor Blaine Kellar. The Green Wave Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware, the Larry Maynard Agency, Macon Bank and Trust, Derryberry's Heat and Air, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.